Hi, I'm Avery Davidson.
And I'm Kristen Oaks-White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
If you're like most people, freshness matters when it comes to food. The key to getting fresh food is getting it from the people who grow it.
That's why the LSU Ag Center has developed market-ready workshops to help get growers connected with the people who eat it. As TWILA's Neil Melanson shows us, it's a lot more involved than you might think.
There's no doubt there's been a renewed interest in people wanting to find local food. Farmers markets like Red Stick and Baton Rouge are seeing more attendance and more producers selling here. However, it's just one market, and the appetite for fresh food is bigger than that. Connecting people with their farmers is why the LSU Ag Center has been putting on these market development workshops to help producers and consumers adjust to the radical changes in the ways we get our food.
You used to drive by a farm, either they had a roadside stand or you went to a farmer's market. And now we have those big grocery stores, and whatever they have there, that's normally good enough. So you don't really get to see your local product as much anymore. So grocery stores have seen that there's a demand for local product that you know because you know the farmer in your community, and they enable basically by increased advertisement through local. So you go into a grocery store and instead of just you have some fruit sitting right there, it will have in Rouse's, for example, a picture of the farmer. You will have in other grocery stores as well a description of what the fruit is, where it comes from, how far away from the store, and those things will make it easier to market that specific product, the local product, to the local consumer.
It's not just grocery stores that are looking to market local products. Restaurants are particularly keen to showcase local sourced ingredients. At the workshop, one Covington area chef said he almost always uses local products when they're available. The biggest obstacle is not willingness to use them, but finding their growers.
We would love to get even more stuff locally. It's just we don't really know a lot of farmers.
One potential grower is Robert Coleman of Jonesboro, who drove 4.5 hours to attend this workshop. He grows soybeans and cotton, but is considering growing vegetables for direct sales. For him, the workshop is about finding out if switching is a smart business decision.
There are a lot of people that start a business and they'll be wanting to sell something, but they won't have someone to sell it to. And they forget that you have to be not production driven, you have to actually be sales driven to be successful in marketing and sales. And I've seen a lot of businesses go under because they've gone and worried about the production so much that they have not worried about who I'm going to sell it to. And that's why I'm here to come and talk to some buyers and see what's important to them and how I need to prepare myself to be able to actually sell to those buyers.
Holzapfel says the one thing that can improve chances at sales is online presence.
For example, Facebook is free. I can use that to advertise for my farm. There is another website, Market Maker, that is basically a Facebook for your farm. It allows you, it's free to sign up, and it allows them to create a profile that other producers and consumers then can find and then order products through them or find information how to contact them.
New market-ready workshops will happen in 2018, and they'll not only include vegetable growers, but cattle producers as well. And guys, at this market-ready workshop in Covington, they had a panel at lunch there that was really good. A lot of people from grocery stores and local restaurants, but they had a woman there who was from the school board, and she buys lunches for 55 different schools across that area. And so you don't think about it, but they need fresh foods as well. And they've seen a big correlation between, the food that they eat, getting it from these farmers, and an increased, amount of consumption from it from the kids. So it's a really important subject, and hopefully we'll see more of this.
What did you like most about going to it?
Well, it's really getting these farmers excited about selling to consumers. We're seeing that with social media and that kind of thing, where they're, farmers are telling their stories. You see that with the Luckets and that kind of thing. And this Market Ready workshop is really about that, about bringing the farmers into not only just raw selling of their products, but telling the stories of their families, telling the stories of how they grow it. All of that consumers are now interested in, and so this is really, I think, just the future of where farming can go.
Well, thank you very much for that story, and thanks for coming back from Japan. We know you enjoyed it there.
I really did.
More than 42,000 schools across the country participate in farm-to-school activities. That's according to farm-to-school census conducted by the USDA in 2015.
That's 42% of the schools in America, and that percentage has probably already gone up. This movement has Louisiana school nutritionists and administrators excited about bringing local food into their schools. TWILA's Carl Wiggers takes us to get a closer look at how Louisiana favorites are getting into our schools.
Here at Guidry's Fresh Cuts, busy hands are packing up thousands of pounds of their most popular product, a combination of onions, bell peppers, and celery. A lot of this produce is being processed to distribute to grocery stores, but some of it will have a different destination.
This is a food service pack packed in 5-pound bags. Restaurants, schools, hospitals. All of our products are vacuum packed. None of it's frozen.
Todd Stelly is the general manager here at Guidry's Fresh Cuts. He is part of the team that delivers a variety of produce to schools year-round. This variety, however, is difficult for Louisiana farmers to deliver on their own.
Local farmers can only produce the certain vegetables for the certain season, so it's just not feasible for them to go to the schools with just 1 or 2 vegetables. So they have to go to someone and sell it to them who's going to the school with a variety of things that's going to, make the trip worthwhile.
Stelly says that his favorite produce to buy and deliver to schools comes from the farmers right here in Louisiana.
We move a lot of vegetables, and if we can help the farmer down the road move his product and give him a premium price, we will.
Guidry's Fresh Cuts is all about processing and distributing fresh produce in Louisiana. That is why Todd and others were right here at the Farm to School conference last week in Baton Rouge to promote their products. This conference is the result of a lot of hard work by LSU professor Carl Motzenbacher.
And we're seeing great interest all over the state in farm to school, children learning about food and where our food comes from. For me, it's about learning how to grow food, learning where our food comes from, and it's fun and it's good exercise, but it's also educational. And I think we're seeing different aspects of that.
Motzenbacher says there are 3 components that contribute to the success of the Farm to School program.
School gardens, education, and then procurement, bringing food into the schools.
That third element is where Guidry's Fresh Cuts comes into the picture. It's here where Stelly had a pretty exciting conversation about bringing a new product into some schools.
Some of the ladies were involved in the school system with the nutrition programs, and she watched and saw how easy it was and how simple it was and how delicious it was. She just said, hey, this is something that's never been in the schools, and it's a Louisiana product. It's a Louisiana meal that everybody loves it. That I know of, I've never seen gumbo in a school. So for it to be gumbo in schools first time and be our gumbo, it would really be satisfying and gratifying to see that.
As you can see, Stelly is excited that schools are starting to use their products right here in Louisiana. But what about the rest of us that aren't eating in a school lunchroom every day? Well, you can find this gumbo mix right here in grocery stores and make it at home for yourself. To learn more about Guidry's Fresh Cuts and their products, head over to our website at twilatv.org. And you guys, I cannot wait to get home tonight and cook this for supper.
I'm curious how that's going to taste.
I am too.
Well, you were telling me about the tour of the factory or the production line. You said it was a little bit of a painful process.
My gosh. When you slice onions in your house, you have maybe 1 or 2 that you're dicing up, and there's no telling. I mean, they're pounds and pounds, hundreds of pounds at a time that they're slicing up for their
Do they
their
slice it by
Cajun mix.
hand?
No, they're not sliced by hands. It's just, you can just feel the juice in the air, the onion juice. And when I walked into the office, before I even got into the facility, I walked in the office and I started feeling it. So it's definitely an experience to go and visit that facility.
Guess they have to toughen up to work there.
Yeah, you sure do.
Great story, Carl Wiggers. Well, we would not have the bounty of fruits and vegetables we do without the help of pollinators. The most well-known and loved pollinator is, of course, the honeybee.
For Amy Weeks of West Monroe, hives of bees are more than a source of food and income. They're part of her Louisiana farm life.
That sound is more calming than music to Amy Weeks.
Whenever I have my hive in the face, surrounded by all these bees, my face in their home, you really can't think about anything else. So if you have troubles and you have weighty thoughts, everything gets pushed to the back because you have to focus on what's right in front of you.
Weeks is a master craftsman beekeeper and keeps hives around her home in a Ouachita parish.
It's very peaceful. I get to work outside, which I love, and they're just fascinating creatures.
Watching Weeks work her hives, it's easy to understand the calm, despite the potential for a pretty painful sting from any of the worker bees.
If you are calm and careful, then you're not going to be irritating them, and it's kind of a mutual respect thing that happens.
It's respect the bees earned by creating complex geometric shapes and beneficial compounds.
Amazes me every time I look at it that the bees are able to accomplish in the dark such perfect architecture and just a perfect system where they're able to store their food for the winter. And they do that all by working together. No one bee does everything, so they all have to rely on each other. It's very inspiring.
Weeks started her hive families shortly after she and her husband started their own. She had a great uncle who kept bees, but it was equipment her in-laws had that got her started. But rather than raise bees for honey, Weeks raises them for one particular bee.
The queen bee that's an interesting thing just in itself, and I'm able to ship those through the mail all over the country, so that's just a neat thing to be a part of.
Weeks sells about 1,000 queen bees a year, which changes her approach to beekeeping.
The whole process is very different from just regular beekeeping because each queen has to have her own little box, and so it takes about a month to make a queen from beginning to end. And so in my bee yard, I'll have hundreds of little boxes out, and there's one queen in each, and I wait until I know that she's mated well and laying eggs well before she's sold. And I raise a specific kind of bee that's been it's been bred to be hygienic, which means naturally disease resistant.
So who would buy a queen bee from Weeks?
People who have lost their queen and need a replacement, or they have a poor queen, or they're making a new hive and have no queen. Those people would call me to get a queen bee.
Which could make Weeks the queen bee of the queen bees.
They're just such a giving insect. They overproduce honey so that they can share. Not so they can share, but they do share their crop. The propolis that they collect is very beneficial health-wise and medicinally. It's like everything about it just seems good.
While selling queen bees through the mail is Weeks' main source of income from raising bees, she does collect honey a few times a year and markets it as my favorite honey. It's not the easiest to find, again, because she's not collecting honey as often, but I can assure you it is really, really good.
Cooler weather is a sign of a season many in Louisiana have been waiting for all year, and one in particular I know of, duck season. Duck hunters have a new reason to celebrate this fall, as Nestle Purina has committed to invest $2 million to the Rice Stewardship Partnership. This investment will help protect working rice lands with conservation planning, efficient irrigation practices, and nutrient management. The company is working with both Ducks Unlimited and USA Rice on the program. I know my husband is not the only one that appreciates all that Ducks Unlimited does for the hunters in our state. To see the full extent of this program, head on over to our website at twilatv.org.
The Louisiana Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee is helping veterans rise and shine in the morning. That's because the group of farm women is buying coffee to donate to local veterans' homes. Here you see more than 400 pounds of community coffee. Workers are loading it into the back of Scott Bickham's truck. The Louisiana Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee bought all that you see here directly from Community Coffee using donations they've gathered over the year. Tina Robinson with Community Coffee says the company has a special military match program where Community Coffee matches an order dollar for dollar when the coffee is going to members of the military and veterans.
Some of our packages are handwritten and have personalized notes from our team members. And so this is truly important to us, and we hope that it's a little bit of a personal thank you from our team members at our company to the heroes and to the soldiers that support our country.
Members of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee will deliver the coffee over the next 2 weeks to veterans' homes in Jackson, Louisiana and Reserve.
In 2016, the Louisiana legislature passed legislation allowing for medical use of marijuana. The bill, while strictly prohibiting recreational use, allows for the development of treatments that utilize the drug. Now the LSU Ag Center is working to develop its own program called the Therapeutic Cannabis Program. Dr. Ashley Mullins is the coordinator for LSU and said it will target several different ailments.
The object of the program is to help patients by supplying medical cannabis products to those that have certain debilitating conditions. Excitingly, for the Ag Center, we also can perform research. We have plant and animal science research that we hope to do using cannabis.
Now, once again, the program will not offer the drug for recreational use, and it is still a federally prohibited drug. However, it has been shown to be useful in aiding patients with extreme symptoms from diseases such as Parkinson's and cancer. For more information, you can visit our website at twilatv.org.
Still to come on TWILA, we'll take you online to see the tricks and treats of social media.
But first, farming beautiful fish. Stay with us.
Iridescent minnows, often found in home aquariums, could help LSU researchers improve production practices on fish farms, all while helping the environment thanks to a USDA grant.
TWILA's AJ Sabine shows us how this research may open up new markets for Louisiana farms.
Professor Chris Green and his grad assistants look for signs that their hard work is paying off. Here, the LSU Ag Center, along with Virginia Tech and the University of Florida, have combined their efforts to improve production of these aquarium fish. Under a 2-year, $150,000 USDA grant, Green hopes to improve the production practices of fish farmers here in Louisiana and beyond.
It's going to allow us to do research on fish that you see in aquariums for what people call the ornamental fish trade. A lot of the stuff that we do out here at the Aquaculture Research Station is associated with things you eat. So crawfish, alligators, catfish, tilapia. This grant's unique in that we're going to take the tools and things we use for those food fish and put them into growing fish that people could see at their local pet store.
What you could see at your local pet store are these golden top minnows. You see, researchers look for eggs on these vegetative mats. The science helps to reduce the environmental impact of harvesting these fish in the wild.
We're looking at taking some of our reproductive techniques, the things that we do to make baby fish for food fish, and going to put that technology into use for, say, like the golden top minnow or rainbow darter. Other fish that you might not be familiar with, but some of the native ornamental people could be really excited about.
Food fish profit margins have declined in Louisiana over the past several years. However, the growing popularity of ornamental fish could reverse the trend as demand swells.
Within the United States, one of the biggest centers for the ornamental fish industry is Florida, is Hawaii. Because of their tropical climates, because of their access to saltwater as well as freshwater, you see a huge boom in those aquaculture industries in those states. Ask any kid on the street if they've seen Finding Nemo. They want those colorful aquarium fish, and the ability to reproduce them and not harvest them from the wild is what's going to be able to give that sustainable production in the future.
Green explains that the ultimate goal is to identify which native ornamental species do well in captivity, such that fish farmers here in Louisiana could take advantage of that market.
One of the things we're doing is we're looking specifically at a few different species that are very pretty, that have either an easy ability to hold and reproduce in captivity, as well as we have in the future, we have some other harder ones. Hopefully that will provide an animal base that people won't have to go tromp through the woods or go through, restricted areas and catch these fish from the wild.
Instead of your local bayou, these golden top minnows could be coming to a pet store near you. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm AJ Sabine.
According to the 2013 USDA Census of Aquaculture, farmers in the U.S. produce more than $41.5 million in ornamental fish. Fish farms in Louisiana and Arkansas produce koi and goldfish for aquariums. For more information about Dr. Green's work, you can log on to our website at twilatv.org.
LSU is also looking at tastier avenues of research. Soft-shell crab production is pretty involved because you have to keep track of the crabs throughout their molting process.
Decreasing crab populations are another obstacle threatening the industry, but demand remains strong. Craig Gautreaux shows us just how hard it is to raise this seafood favorite.
See, he can't pull that. He's trying to make this cloth.
Daniel Edgar has been producing soft-shell crabs for more than 30 years. He says there are many factors involved in producing the perfect soft shell, but one of the most important is having a system that can maintain good water quality.
The greatest challenge is when you add more crabs to the system, you're going to raise your ammonia level, raise your nitrite level. That is the absolute challenge for doing soft-shell crabs.
Decreasing crab populations is another hurdle. Julie Lively, a researcher with the LSU Ag Center's School of Renewable Natural Resources, is examining a virus specific to blue crabs. This virus has nearly a 100% mortality rate and could explain some of the die-offs in soft-shell facilities.
So we're trying to understand if this virus is actually a major problem for the soft-shell industry, and if we can identify what is causing the problem to maybe help give best management recommendations to solve it.
Soft-shell crabs are considered a delicacy by humans and are preferred by many species of fish. During the molting process, they are virtually defenseless against predators.
You've got redfish and drum that eat the hard crabs, and jack crevalles, they eat hard crabs. But soft shells, everything out there eats a soft shell.
Another issue with raising soft-shell crabs is they must be monitored around the clock and removed at just the right time.
That's one of the problems with soft shell, is that people have to check their systems almost every 4 or 5 hours at least to make sure that they aren't starting to harden in the water.
If producers like Edgar are successful in producing the right soft shell, they have no problem selling them on the market because demand exceeds supply. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gautreaux reporting.
Louisiana has seen its number of soft-shell producers drop from around 250 to less than 50 producers in the past 15 years.
Still to come on TWILA.
Halloween on the farm and online. Trending on TWILA is up next. Stay with us.
Halloween has come and gone, but we are still loving all of the festive costume posts all over social media, especially those ag-related ones.
That's true. And of course, we saw lots and lots of cute little pumpkins this season. Too many to count, in fact. And we definitely could not choose just one to show, so we had to share just a few. Megan Gravois shared this picture of the booze of the Bureau, featuring some very familiar Farm Bureau faces.
We also saw chickens, cowboys, and farmers. Oh my. Brittany Loomis shared this photo of the farmer and his cow. And check out this pic posted by Danielle LASUEUR of her LASUEUR Sweet Pea baby. Now, that's pretty clever considering the, silver labeled cans.
I know. I was wondering if they had some kind of
family
connection. I don't know. From green peas to John Deere green, Olivia Mitchell shared a picture of her son rocking his John Deere green tractor. Now, this is certainly a Pinterest-worthy post, and we can't leave out the red guys either. Linder Equipment tweeted this pic for their Tractor Tuesday post. I must say these are some pretty creative parents that are posting pictures. And Avery, I'm sure that you have some really cute trick-or-treating pictures of your little ones.
Nope. I'm not sharing them. Wait, you pulled them up on the screen already. Okay, well, there we go. Let me explain. So Luke is not Robin Hood, as many people thought he was. He's Prince Philip from Sleeping Beauty, and that's his sword of truth in his hand. And of course, Logan was a tiger, but he refused to wear the hat. So when we went trick-or-treating at Our Lady of the Lake Hospital, I wore the tiger hat. So.
I saw that. That was pretty cute. And now, did he pick this costume?
Logan? He's
no.
two. Oh, no, Luke picked it. Yes, yeah, Luke picked Prince Philip because he loves Sleeping Beauty, and he saw Maleficent out. So I guess he wanted to defeat Maleficent while we were out trick-or-treating.
Somebody must have called him Robin Hood, and it didn't go over very well.
He corrected him right quick. That's 5 years old. What do you expect? Now it's time for this week's TWILA Trivia. Last week we asked you which candy is the most popular Halloween snack in Louisiana. And if you paid attention to the map that had come up before, you know that the correct answer is C, lemon heads. This week our trivia question is, from which region in the world do pumpkins originate? Is it A, Africa, B, Europe, or C, Central America? To enter this week's trending trivia contest, simply log on to your Facebook or Twitter account and post your answer with the hashtag TWILATrivia, or you can always submit your answer on our website at twilatv.org.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when Carl will show us a school in Northeast Louisiana that is seeing incredible results growing its own produce.
Neil Melanson will also take us to the Yellow Rails and Rice Festival, which combines bird watching with agriculture. Kind of cool. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and find our stories over there on Snapchat.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.